From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2015, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, June 15, 2016. The Amateur Radio Emergency Service springs into action most effectively in the aftermath of a tragedy or during a crisis. That was the case in Houston, Texas last week as the region was besieged by deadly flooding.
Unrelenting floods in Harris County, Texas, and much of the southeastern region of the state spurred the county's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management to move to a level of increased readiness, Level 3, activating the Amateur Radio Emergency Service in South Texas District 14 for a short while on June 2nd. The section's emergency coordinator, Frank Aguilar, N5SSH, said that in spite of the fact that communications were not disrupted, ARE's efforts were nonetheless needed to deal with what he called situational awareness issues in the weather-drenched region. Flooded streets posed a particular problem as the dangerous weather failed to let up. District 14 Emergency Coordinator Jeff Walter, KE5FGA, requested South Texas District 14 ARES volunteers to report through web EOC or lacking access to use repeaters. For Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Mike Askins, KE5CXP.
3-2. Besides emergency communications, another way amateur radio shines is in public service. One of the premier running events on the planet is looking for hams to volunteer their time and talents. Newsline's Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
The Boston Amateur Radio Club is looking for volunteer radio operators to help at the Boston Athletic Association's 10K on Sunday, June 26th. Hams who want to provide support for the event should plan to be available on that day from 6 a.m. to noon and will need to bring a handheld dual-band radio. One with a gain antenna would be helpful. Returning volunteers and newcomers can both sign up now and should visit the 10K site at BAA.org, navigate to the volunteer page, and select the button reading Volunteer Now. Then just follow the instructions and complete the application. If you have questions about the process, contact Brett Smith, AB1RL, the Ham Club's Public Service Coordinator, at AB1RL at brettcsmith.org. That's Brett with 2 T's, csmith.org.
Ham radio and scouting go together like, well, ham and cheese.
This week in Radio Scouting, we have 3 scout camps on the air in Missouri, Ohio, and New Mexico. William Coverdale, WD0BC, will be the control operator for the Portable Zero station at Camp Geiger in St. Joseph, Missouri. William will have the camp on the air on HF Voice Wednesdays through Fridays from 1500 to 1700 Zulu time, beginning June 15th and continuing through the summer until July 23rd. John Bador, KC8KI, will be the control operator for the Portable 8 station at Camp Wyandotte at Firelands Reservation in Wakeman, Ohio. John will have his Radio Merit Badge participants on the air on Wednesdays beginning June 15th and running through July 21st. And we continue to have Dale Finley, KB5NFT, the control operator for the Portable 5 station at the Philmont Scout Camp in Cimarron, New Mexico, running throughout the summer. Please help support this activity and others involving youth and amateur radio by working and spotting them on the air and online. For more information on K2BSA and radio scouting, please visit www.k2bsa.net. For Amateur Radio Newsline and the K2BSA Amateur Radio Association, this is Bill Stearns, NE4RD.
Thanks, Bill. Now let's all get on the air and support the youth of scouting and ham radio. And speaking of youth, another reminder that the nominating period for the Bill Pasternak Young Ham of the Year Award is drawing to a close midnight June 30th. More info and the nominating form can be found on the Newsline website under the YHOTY tab. And finally, this past Saturday, June 11th, was the first anniversary of the passing of Newsline's creator, Bill Pasternak, WA6ITF. I spoke with several hams who were close to Bill. You can hear their comments in the final segment of this week's Newsline Report or on the Newsline website under the Extra tab. To say we miss Bill is, of course, a huge understatement. And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for over 38 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Mike Askins, KE5CXP, Paul Brown, WD9GCO, Bill Stearns, NE4RD, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.